What we're seeing in Gibraltar is an uplift in people either who are abandoning their dogs or who are turning to us looking for help because they can no longer look after their dogs. They're either very elderly, they're looking to go into hospital, or they're already in hospital in some cases, and it's their family who are reaching out to us to say they have a dog that's no longer got an owner. Can we help either temporarily or longer term? And unfortunately, in a lot of the cases, it is rehoming those dogs permanently. So it's I think a problem that's maybe not always that visible in Gibraltar, but it does happen. We've had to rehome over 30 dogs from Gibraltar this year.
I think it's important to emphasize that in the 9 years that we've been doing this work, there's been a lot of heartbreaking situations. And in Gibraltar, we tend to think at times that when we explain this to people, they're a bit shocked, saying, oh, that doesn't really happen in Gib. Well, actually, it does.
Right.
We've seen dogs that have been starved to death. We've seen dogs that have been thrown out of balconies.
No.
We've seen dogs that have lived all their lives in tiny cages in flats that have never left. This is has been really one of the triggers for us to reach out to Minister Cortés with our wish list for amendments in Gibraltar, which obviously include legislative change, but in addition, changes like a policy, a system for whistleblowing, where people, because obviously we live in a very small community, and there's people who are scared to report to the police or to file their reports or to reach out. So it's somewhere that the authorities would somehow, it would trigger an investigation into animal neglect and animal cruelty. So there's different suggestions that we've put to the minister, and we're thrilled that he's taken that on board, and we're supporting him with all this change that he is going to be implementing.
So you have some sort of commitment that he wants to bring about some of those changes?
Absolutely. We were delighted that it actually made our proposals made their way into the government's manifesto, which is now, as we know, a policy document. And we've actually met with their lawyers already to start discussing the practical effect of the changes to legislation. I mean, significantly is the fact that animals will be recognized as sentient beings. Currently, they are considered property.
Right.
So this extends beyond, is the animal eating, does the animal have water, to the emotional and mental welfare of the animal. And this is obviously a consideration that will have to be taken place as all other changes in legislation are going to be made.
If it's a sentient being rather than an item, how it's treated in law as well. So if the police take action, if you've had your car stolen, your car is then impounded if it's returned, if it's found. That can happen to dogs as well if there's some criminal activity and it's contested, or civil activity involving a dog, then it's treated at the moment like any other piece of property, which can cause additional unwarranted and unintended suffering to the dog. But the police have to follow the law, and at the moment, as Eugenie said, the dog is just treated as if it was a computer or a phone that's been stolen or mistreated, abandoned, whatever. And that's what we want to change, so that the dog's welfare is taken into account in any decision that's made going forward.